Diddy Docket for Thursday, May 22nd. This is the last day of testimony for this week. The court will be adjourned until Tuesday following the holiday weekend. George Kaplan is going to return to the stand today, the former executive assistant that worked for Diddy between 2013 and 2015. After a brief discussion between the attorneys and the judge to decide whether or not Kid Cudi can discuss the effects of the break-in his house in 2011 had on his dog. Kaplan testifies to carrying large sums of cash for Diddy for actually picking up cash from Western Union and deliver it to him. My question, what was that cash used for, and why is the prosecution bringing this up? I think I'm gonna start putting a little bell every time something pops up that ties into why this is a case, because there's still such a big discussion. Again, the second week of an 8-week trial, everything has not been established yet, but I think I'll start doing just a little ding. Yes, elements of the RICO. He testified to two specific instances. One where they were on a private jet. Diddy is standing over Cassie with a glass in his hand. She is screaming. Is anybody seeing this? He assumed that something had happened, even though on cross-examination he did clarify that he never saw any bruises on Cassie after this instance. But I do feel like the prosecution brought this up because Cassie screaming isn't anybody seeing this. So it's him, it's other staff members, management, bodyguards. She's screaming for help and nobody is assisting her. The second instance of violence that he testified to was that he saw Diddy throwing apples towards his girlfriend, a young woman that he was with. It was not clarified who she was, but it was not Cassie. On cross-examination, he did clarify that even though he saw Diddy throwing these objects at this woman, he never saw any of them hit her. Part of his job was to set up the hotel rooms for the freak-offs and clean up afterwards. One time he was called into a hotel room where he saw Cassie crying, and to her hands he saw bruises on her face. Diddy sent him on an errand to pick up an anti-swelling agent from a pharmacy, which he did, and he paid for that purchase with a credit card from Combs Enterprise. He did quit this position in 2015. Before he left, he did have a conversation with Christina Quorum, who was Diddy's chief of staff at that time, telling her that about the instances of violence that he had witnessed. He was not comfortable with that type of physical behavior. He felt like he was fixing those things, and his moral compass would not allow him to do that anymore. Her response was just that, he was sad and disappointed. Ultimately, he gave the reason of his father being sick as him leaving, specifically the things that he had witnessed. On cross-examination, Diddy's attorneys did want to point out or have him testify to any positive aspects of his position while he was working with Diddy. He said he learned a lot of business lessons. Never saw Diddy physically hit Cassie. Said that he desperately did not want to testify. He was there because he was subpoenaed. He made it seem like he still held Diddy in high regard, stating that he still contacted him on his birthday. Every year, they seemed to be smiling at each other in the courtroom. He also made it clear that he never saw Diddy carrying a gun that was only with security or any hired bodyguards. Even though Diddy yelled at him or threatened his job multiple times, he never threatened him physically. There was never any physical altercation between him and Diddy. So that wraps up his testimony, and next up is Kid Cudi.